From the ruins of Blackreach to the ethereal realms of Sovngarde, from mortal men to the gods and Aedra, deathly draugrs to demonic Daedra, from simple dream of owning the breeze home to the abstract natures of the godhead and the creation myth, Elder Scrolls is a game crowded with lore that encompasses everyday struggles of a mortal to the vastness of time itself. And on top of it all are the gods of the world that started it all and are still influencing new stories that are to come. Welcome mortals as we discuss and recognize all the gods of the Elder Scrolls universe along with their hierarchy within the Pantheon. Prime Gods. These are the gods that started it all. They originated out of nothing and created everything. Number 1. Anu, the everything. Anu is associated with status, order and preservation. His essence embodies stability and the unchanging nature of reality. It is said that everything in existence is part of Anu's dream, and his influence permeates all the aspects of the universe. Anu, the dreamer, representing the ultimate source from which all things originate. According to the creation myth, Anu exists in a state of eternal dreaming, and his dreams give rise to the Orbis, the universe in which the Elder Scrolls takes place. Anu's counterpart is Padome, representing chaos and change. The interplay between Anu and Padome form the foundation of creation and sets the stage for subsequent events and being in the Elder Scrolls universe. An important concept related to Anu is the concept of Amaranth. The Amaranth is a state of achieving a new dream, a separate reality, and becoming a new entity separate from Anu's dream, where you become the godhead of your own tower. It represents the possibility of transcending the limitation of current dream and creating an entirely new existence. Number 2. Padome, one of the two primal forces. Padome, the quintessential form of change, the counterpart to Anu, is part of every pantheon in one way or another. Padome is the personification of primordial force of chaos and change who dwells in the void. Said to be one of the creators of Nur, a personification of Orbis, Padome was embittered by the love between Anu and Nur and sought to destroy their love child, creation. He killed Nur and sundered creation, but Anu salvaged the remnants, then saved them from further harm by pulling his brother and himself out of time forever. Gods with a Padomic basis include most Daedric Princes, who, as the blood of Padome, represents the force of change, as does his son, Lorkhan, who brought about the fundamental change in the status quo within the Etada. His blood and Anu mingled to create the Aedra, giving them the capacity for both good and evil. The Clockwork Apostles of Sotasil claim that Padome and Padomic Daedra are only illusions who have influence due to a flawed design of Norn itself. Number 3. Anuel. Anuel is the soul of Anu and thus the soul of everything, created by Anu himself so that he might know himself through self-reflection. It represents order and is the counterpart of Sithis, said to be the creator of Akatos and other Etada. Anuel is said to be responsible for time law established within Nirn. Similarly, it is also said that soul of Anuel is Auriel, who infused the Orbis with the concept of time. Number 4. Auriel. Auriel is the Almer variation of Akatos and the godfather of the Altmer Pantheon. He is the central figure in the creation myth and religious beliefs of the game world in Elder Scrolls. Auriel is closely associated with the concept of covenant, a divine pact between Almer and their god. According to the Altmeri beliefs, Auriel established a covenant with his followers, promising them a path to transcendence and enlightenment through adherence to the Altmeri way. Auriel's realm is known as Battlespire, a celestial realm where souls of worthy Altmer warriors are said to reside after death. Number 5. The Adversary, or the Greedy Man, is a Scalic deity and opposite force of the Allmaker, the devil in Scalic belief. Unlike Allmaker, his aspects are given specific name and a gender. Number 6. The Allmaker, godfather in Scalic belief, creator of every living being in Scalic Pantheon. It is believed that Allmaker cursed ancient warriors with undeath for committing acts of cannibalism, thus creating the Draugr. In opposition to the Allmaker is the Adversary, both of whom bear resemblance to Anu and Padome, who are in a similar antithetical conflict. The Aedras. These are the beings known as the original spirits, a race of divine beings resulting from the interplay of Anu and Padome, including the Aedra, the Daedric Princes, the Magna-Gee, and the Elnophe. Number 1. The Elnophes. These are the group of Etada who decided not to abandon Mondas and instead sacrificed themselves to become the earthwounds that would keep it viable. They remained in the mortal realm and populated it, becoming the progenitors of the modern race. Long ago, when Magnus the Architect decided to flee Mundus, the Aedra split. Most followed Magnus, but the Elnophes are those, as described above, who sacrificed themselves into other forms so that they might stay in Mundus. It is believed that Norn is an amalgamation of 12 worlds, and a large chunk of one world, the Elnophe world, which was left relatively intact. The Elnophe who lived there was the ancestors of Mor, and their solidarity allowed them to retain more of their ancient knowledge and power. The other Elnophe, who were left scattered around Norn, had harder time adapting and were dubbed the Wanderers. Eventually, a war between these two groups started, called the Elnophe War, which resulted in separation of the Elnophe into different factions and the subsequent dispersal across the world. The old Elnophe were said to have settled in the continents of Tamriel and Akavir, while the wandering Elnophe established themselves on the other landmasses such as Yakuda and Atmora. The fracturing of Aldmor along cultural and racial lines is called the Sundering of Aldmeris. The old Elnophe, or the Proto-Mor, known as the Aldmor, became the Dwemer, the Deep Ones, the Kaimor, the Changed Ones, the Bosmor, Green, or the Forest One, the Falmor, the Snow Ones, the Maomor of Pandonia, Sea, or the Tropical Ones, the Altmor, Elder, or the High Ones, and the Sinistral Mor, Left-Handed Ones of Yakuda. The Wanderers became the race of men, eventually splitting into many different racial groups, including the Nadis, the Atmorans of Atmora, the Yakudans of Yakuda, and the possibly Saiski of Akavir, and other aboriginal groups called the Proto-Bretons. Number 2. Lorkhan. The missing god is the creator trickster deity present in every Tamrielic mythical tradition. He is known as the spirit of the Norn, the god of all mortals. His most popular name is the Elven variant Lorkhan, or the Doom Drum, which sometimes appear as Lakhan. Names for variation or aspect of Lorkhan include Lorkhaz, the moon beast in Elsewhere, Lork, the spirit of man, the mortal spirit, or the sour of flesh in the Richmen, Sep in Hammerfell, Sior in High Rock, Sor in Skyrim, and Caesar in Cyrodiil. According to the creation myth, Lorkhan proposed the idea of Mundus, a mortal plane where divine beings could descend and experience a more tangible existence. He believed that through this mortal experience, the Aedra could achieve a deeper understanding and transcendence. However, not all of the Aedra agreed with this idea, leading to a conflict between those who supported Lorkhan's vision and those who opposed it. Lorkhan's plan to create Mundus involved sacrificing a part of his own divine essence. He convinced several other Aedra to contribute their powers as well, resulting in their loss of immortality and binding them to the mortal planes. This event is known as the Convention, marked as the beginning of the mortal realm and the birth of Mundus. However, Lorkhan's motivation and true nature are complex and debated. Some view him as a trickster or a force of chaos, while others see him as a catalyst for change and progress. His actions and role in creation are often seen as controversial and divisive among the various races and pantheons of Tamriel. He was killed in some way or another in every pantheon. His heart fell on Norn and created Red Mountain, whilst the rest of his body roams the void in some way. Mankind thanks him for granting them life, while the Mor hate him for taking away their divinity as part of the Aetherius. Number 3. Magnus, the architect of Mundus. He is an Aedra that constructed the plan for creating Lorkhan's vision, Mundus. When he found out that he would lose his power when Mundus is created, Magnus and some other Aedra fled from the mortal planes, leaving a hole in the fabric of reality known as the Magnus's gift, or the sun. This opening allowed the raw energy of Aetherius, from which Magicka derives, to pour into Mundus, becoming the sun and stars. This link enables mortals to harness and manipulate Magicka, giving rise to various schools of magic, spells, and enchantments that exist throughout Tamriel. Though Magnus does not have as prominent a presence or direct interaction with mortals as some other deities in Elder Scrolls Pantheon, his influence is profound and far-reaching. His role as the god of magic and the creator of the laws that govern the arcane arts ensures that his significance in study and practice of magic throughout the realms of Tamriel. Number 4. Trinemak, an early Aldmor and Orsimer hero god. He was the one who sought Lorkhan's heart away in some pantheons. Considered the strongest Aedra that wandered Norn, he was killed and corrupted by Boethia, forming him into Malacath. Number 5. Ifri, god of the forest, is heavily associated with songs and stories as mythical expression of this role in shaping the story of nature itself. Most important god in Bosmeri pantheon, the first one to transform into an Elnophe, also worshipped by the Khazid. Magna-Gee, These are the gods that followed Magnus and fled to Aetherius while creating Mundus that became the sun and stars in the skies of Mundus, pouring Magica into the mortal realm. Number 1. The Daedric Prince Meridia or Meridnunda was originally a Magna-Gee. Number 2. Nemoli, a star orphan, a Magna-Gee that only appears when dragon break occurs. Number 3. Zerolig, one of the lesser known Magna-Gee. According to Mankar Cameron, Zerolig, together with the other Magna-Gee as a whole, were responsible for creation of Merun's Dagon in the bowels of Lig. Number 4. Una, a wayward Magna-Gee who allegedly, according to the Dunmeri folklore, became the Bardua Moonlet. The Aedras, or the Divines. The Aedras are original beings that arose from the interplay of Anu and Padome. They are regarded as the counterparts and opposites of the Daedric Princes. These are the beings that sacrifice their powers to create Mundus and are worshipped as the 8 Divines, with Talos added later as the 9th Divine, despite him ascending to the Divines after creation of the Mundus itself. Number 1. Akatos, godfather of Imperial Pantheon, the Divines, the god of time and the father of dragons, also known as Auriel to the Aldmor and Bosmor, dragon god of time to Nadis and Alkos to the Khazib. He is present in most Tamrielic religion and is generally considered to be the first of the gods to form in the beginning place. After his establishment, other spirits found the process to be easier and the various pantheons of the old emerged. He is known as Bormahu in the dragon pantheon, our father in Dobazul. Number 2. Arche. Arche's character explores themes of mortality, the cycle of life and death, and the rituals and beliefs surrounding these concepts. As a deity, Arche offers a sense of comfort and structure to the mortals, ensuring that the transition from life to death is a guided and respected process. His presence adds depth to the religious and spiritual aspect of the game world and serves as a focal point for cultural practices related to mortality. Number 3. Dibella. Dibella is often depicted as radiant and graceful figure, representing the ideals of physical beauty and artistic expression. Dibella is also associated with the concept of divine inspiration. It is believed that she grants inspiration and creativity to artists and performers, guiding their hands and voices to create beautiful and awe-inspiring works. Many aspiring artists and musicians pray to Dibella, seeking her blessings and guidance in their artistic endeavors. The artistic endeavors of Dibella, however, might take entirely different form from just music and painting. Number 4. Julianos, god of wisdom and logic. Number 5. Kinnereth, goddess of heavens, winds and elements, goddess of storms and widowed to soar, said to be the first that agreed to Lorkhan's plan, gave mankind the voice to defend themselves against the dragons. She is the chief deity of the Nordic pantheon and leads dead Nords to Sovngarde. Number 6. Zenithar, god of work, commerce and trade. Number 7. Mara, goddess of law, fertility and agriculture, almost present in every pantheon. Number 8. Stendar, one of the divines, god of mercy. Stendar was originally worshipped as Stun, god of ransom, sealed thin to soar, but later developed into the current form of worship as a deity of compassion or sometimes righteous rule. Number 9. Tibur Septim or Talos, meaning storm crown in Elnofe, also known as Ealti Orlybeard and Izmir, one of the divines, heir to the seat of sundered kings. Talos, the most important hero god of mankind. He established the empire of Tamriel, is one of the Caesarine, a reincarnation of the missing god or trickster deity Lorkhan or Sor in Nordic pantheon. He achieved godhood after his death. However, the Altmer defy his accession to godhood, claiming that the foul use of Numedium as his tool of conquest and thus a false god, which led to the conflict in the 4th era, where the Almeri Dominion banned the worship of Talos as god, resulting in the civil war in the province of Skyrim. Number 10. Alduin is the old leader in Nordic pantheon. An immensely powerful black dragon, said to be the firstborn of Akatos, is depicted as malevolent force who destroys the world periodically. He is a perpetrator of Grim Cycle, where he destroys the previous world to enable the creation of new one. He, however, in his arrogance, strayed far from his righteous path in favor of conquering Mundus, which is why Parthunax, Alduin's younger sibling and chief lieutenant for much of ancient dragon wars, started a rebellion together with Nordic allies. The Daedric Princes. The lords and ladies of the Oblivion. Daedric Princes are the most powerful of Daedras. They are the Aedras who did not lend their power in the creation of Mundus. Number 1. Meridia or Meridnunda, a Tada of light and living being. She was originally a Magna-Gee, but couldn't flee from Mundus, which resulted in her being viewed as if she was a Daedric prince. She hates undead and is in open conflict with most other Daedric princes. She helped stopping the planemeld of Molag Bal and also helped stopping Nocturnal from rewriting reality and becoming omniscient. She granted Umbriel the Unfeathered immortality to kill Peliniel Whitestrake. She teleported her city Delodil into Cold Harbor, which gives her influence in Molag Bal's realm. Number 2. Namira, Daedric Prince of Darkness and Decay, ruler over Skulking Void, a plane in Oblivion. She is the patron of all cannibals and an enemy of Arche. Number 3. Azura, Daedric Prince of Dusk and Dawn, Lady of Twilight, ruler over Moonshadow, a plane in Oblivion, one of the good Daedra in Dunmeri worship. She is credited with creating Khazit out of the forest people and binding them to the lunar lattice. The favored daughter of Phadome himself, she is considered the most revered and important deity in Khazit culture, and her influence is deeply ingrained in their religious practices and beliefs. Number 4. Boethia, Daedric Prince of Deceit, Conspiracy, Treachery and Sedation, ruler over Attribution's Share, a plane in Oblivion, one of the good Daedra in Dunmer worship. Boethia sees battle as blessing and is frequently depicted as a great-capped warrior, often in a stoic pose. It was Boethia, along with Mafala, who told the Dunmer the truth of Lord Constellations and who defeated Auriel's champion Trinemac. These and other illuminations convinced the eventual Chimera, or the Changed Folk, to renounce their ties with the Elmore and found the nation of Resden based on Daedric principles. Worshippers of Boethia are typically those who value cunning, subterfuge, and pursuit of power. They often engage in secretive rituals, conspiracies, and acts of violence. Boethia's followers believe in the philosophy of might makes right, where strength and cunning are highly valued and the weak are seen as unworthy. Number 5. Clavicus Vile, the Daedric Prince of Trickery and Bargains, ruler over the Field of Regrets, a plane in Oblivion. Clavicus finds eternity to be boring, so he finds entertainment in watching mortals occasionally meddling in their affairs. He is known to have stored half of his power in Barbas the dog, making them the two halves of the same being. Sometimes before Second Era, the ancient witch Nerna Ware created a sword in request of Clavicus Vile, who wanted the sword as a tool of mischief, which would send him souls from the mortal realm. However, Nerna tricked him by making him imbue his own power into the sword so as to stabilize it, which in turn made the sword sentient. He once formed a secretive alliance known as the Triad with Nocturnal and Mafala to rule over Nirn, but got tricked by Nocturnal several times to the point where he had to ally himself with Sigic Order and the Vestige, from which he was planning to steal from in the first place, in order to stop Nocturnal from gaining the Heart of Transparent Law for herself. Heart of Transparent Law, which seems to be a divine energy, probably a part of Auriel himself, and to my guess, it is probably similar to the mantella that powered Dwemer's Wakbrass Tower, the new medium. Number 6. Hermaeus Mora, the Daedric Prince of Forbidden Knowledge, ruler over Apocrypha, a plane in Oblivion, consisting of endless libraries and forbidden knowledge. Mortals who seek knowledge and dark arts often find themselves lured into Apocrypha. He values the acquisition of knowledge above all else and will manipulate and corrupt anyone who seeks him out. He is seen as a neutral figure in the conflicts between other Daedric princes, often staying aloof and observing from the shadows. Hermaeus Mora claims that he is one of the oldest princes born of thrown-away ideas during the creation of Mundus. Imperial Manonauts have verified that his influence on fate and time is real and unfeigned, implying that Mora is tied directly with Akathos, the prime temporal spirit whose appearance led to the formation of the world, and therefore Mora may be telling the truth. Number 7. Hircine, Daedric Prince of Haunt, ruler over the Haunting Grounds, a plane in Oblivion, creator of all lycanthropes. Hircine's influence extends beyond mortals, as he is also venerated by the creature of the wilds, such as bears, wolves, and other predatory animals. He is considered their patron and protector, ensuring the natural balance between predator and prey. Hircine embodies the untamed and primal aspect of nature, emphasizing the instinctual pursuit of hunt and the power of the wilderness. His followers seek to prove their worth in the great hunt and revel in the thrill and the ferocity of the hunt, whether in mortal or beastly form. Number 8. Zigalag, Daedric Prince of Order, Xigalac's sphere of influence was once much more prominent. He was feared by other Daedric princes due to his power and his ability to enforce order upon the chaotic realms of oblivion. As a result, the other princes conspired against him, eventually causing him to become Sheogorath, the Daedric Prince of Madness. Xigalac's transformation into Sheogorath was seen as a way to limit his power and influence. As Sheogorath, he embodies madness, chaos, and unpredictability, representing the polar opposite of his true nature. However, at the end of each era, the event known as the Grey March occurs, during which Xigalac reverts to his original form and seeks to bring order and logic back to the Shivering Isles. Number 9. Malakath, Moloch or also Moloch, Daedric Prince of Curses, Oaths, Broken Promises and Anguish, ruler over Aspit, a plane in Oblivion, patron of the spurned and ostracized. Malakath's origins are tied to the tragic figure of Trinemac, a revered elven deity associated with honor and righteousness. According to the legends, Trinemac was betrayed by Boethia, another Daedric prince, who devoured him and corrupted his essence. Trinemac was then transformed into Malakath, a figure embodying the aspect of exile and retribution. He is considered a patron of disenfranchised and the downtrodden, offering solace and empowerment to those who have been scorned and banished. His followers often include orcs, who revere him as their chief deity. Number 10. Mehrunes Dagon, Daedric Prince of Revolution, Destruction, Change and Ambition, ruler over the Deadlands, a plane in Oblivion, leader of the Oblivion Crisis in the Elder Scrolls Oblivion, claims that Mundus is for himself, worshipped by the mythic Dawn. Number 11. Mephala, Daedric Prince of Obscurity and Mysteries, ruler over Spiral Skein, a plane in Oblivion. She helped founding the Morak Tongue and collaborated with Clavicus Pile and Nocturnal to rule over Orbis, but got tricked by Nocturnal instead. Number 12. Molag Bal, Daedric Prince of Dominion and Enslavement, ruler over Cold Harbor, a plane in Oblivion. He created the first of empires on Norn and once started the Plane Meld, a Daedric invasion to merge the whole of Norn with his own plane of Oblivion, Cold Harbor. Number 13. Nocturnal, Daedric Prince of Night and Shadows. She is the patron of all thieves and burglars. She once tried to rewrite the existence and become omniscient by using the Crystal Tower in Somerset. For that, she collaborated with Clavicus Pile and Mephala, but tricked them both in the end. She was disturbed by Vestige and the combined forces of Bile, Mephala and Meridia. Number 14. Periite, Daedric Prince of Pestilence, Disease and Natural Order. His spear is described as the lowest orders of Oblivion, considered as one of the weakest Daedric Prince. Number 15. Sanguine, Daedric Prince of Debauchery and Passionate Indulgence, often depicted as a jovial and mischievous character who delights in revelry, intoxication and hedonistic pursuit. His realm of Oblivion is known as Mystic Grove. It is described as a place of eternal celebration where pleasure-seeking mortals are invited to revel in an atmosphere of unbridled merriment. Unlike some of the more sinister Daedric princes, Sanguine is generally considered to be less malevolent and more inclined toward light-hearted mischief. He is known to be a trickster, often orchestrating pranks and schemes that involve the manipulation and humiliation of unsuspecting individuals. Number 16. Sheogorath, Daedric Prince of Madness, depicted as a mercurial and eccentric figure, often characterized by his erratic and nonsensical speech patterns. He is associated with madness, creativity, and the distortion of reality. His realm of Oblivion is known as the Shivering Isle, which reflects his chaotic and unpredictable nature, with a landscape that is constantly changing and shifting. Sheogorath is also said to be one of the 4 original Daedric Princes, known as the 4 corners of the House of Troubles. Number 17. Vaermina, Daedric Prince of Nightmares and Dreams. Vaermina is depicted as a malevolent and cunning entity, delighting in the fears and insecurities of the mortals. She seeks to embed the dreams of individuals and twist them into horrific and unsettling experiences, feeding off the fear and anguish of that result. Her realm of Oblivion is known as Quagmire. It is a dark and twisted reflection of her own domain, filled with everlasting nightmares and deceptive illusions. Number 18. The Ideal Masters. The Ideal Masters are the malevolent revenant spirits that rule the realms of Oblivion, known as Soul Cairn. The Ideal Masters are believed to be a group or collection of powerful necromancers who achieved a state of accession or apotheosis. They are said to have merged their consciousness and essence into a collective entity, transcending their mortal forms and becoming immortal beings of pure energy. The Ideal Masters feed on the energy of the trapped souls in soul cairn, using them to sustain their power and existence. Typically, they do not physically manifest themselves in the realm, instead preferring a type of omnipresence. However, Ideal Masters have been known to take form resembling a soul gem, which can be used as a conduit through which the individual can communicate or drain the life essence of an approaching mortal. Demi Princes and Demigods. These are the beings that are either the descendants of Aedras and Daedric Princes or an aspect of greater populace or place. Number 1. Alandro Sul, the immortal son and a Daedric demi-prince of Azura, was the sealed companion of Indoril Nerevar during the War of the First Council. During the Battle of Red Mountain, he fought and defeated the Ash King Ulfar, but was struck blind during the fight. He later lived with the Ashlanders of Vardenfell after the battle and is credited with spreading the belief that the Tribunal murdered Nerevar. Number 2. Darien Gautier, Last Light of Meridia. Effectually, Meridia's son and her vassal helped the Vestige in stopping the Plain Meld, and the attempt of Nocturnal to become omniscient performed countless heroic deeds. Number 3. Imek Grokarya, son of Daedric Prince Malakath, killed, tortured, and taken to Shivering Isle by Sheogorath. This is one of the cases where the revered Sheogorath doesn't seem as entertaining, as he tricks the honors of Malakath into killing his own son while keeping the severed head sentient and banished to the Shivering Isle as torture, while Malakath watches in horror as the decapitated head of his son pleads in distance. Number 4. Molag Grunda, daughter of Molag Bal, killed by the Vestige. Number 5. Ojo Zakar, the first Titan, son of Molag Bal. Number 6. Fanuit Hain, the Demi-Prince. He haunts the warriors that fail and still wonders why. A scion of Boethia and ruler of Pocket Realm of Maelstrom, a plane in oblivion. Number 7. The Sylvanar, demigod in Bosmeri culture, connected to the Green Lady and represents the spiritual side of Valinor. Number 8. The Green Lady, demigod in Bosmeri culture, is connected to the Sylvanar and represents the force of Valinor. While the Sylvanar represents Bosmer's spirituality, the Green Lady represents the physicality. The Hero Gods. These are the beings ascended to godhood through their deeds of heroism and sheer force. Number 1. Alicia, or Saint Alicia, is the slave queen, first empress of Cyrodiil and the creator of Imperial Pantheon as the Eight Divines, a fusion of both Nordic and Aldmeric Pantheon. Led the first era of rebellion against the Aelids, freeing the natives of Cyrodiil from slavery and founding what became the Alician Empire. Number 2. Dragonborn. Mythical figure of the dragon cult and Nordic hero, worshipped by the former dragon cult, is a mortal blessed with blood and soul of a dragon by Akathos. Some sources claim that dragonborns are fragments of Akathos' soul, and shared this status with Alduin and possibly all of dragonkind. Saint Alicia was commonly regarded as the first dragonborn recorded in history until Miraak, the true first dragonborn, made himself known in the 4th era. Some dragonborns are known to possess the gift of sight. It is said dragon blood possessed by the member of Septim dynasty allowed them to see more than lesser men. Emperor Uriel Septim VII was troubled all his life by dreams that showed him visions of the future, including his own assassination and the start of the Oblivion crisis that followed. Number 3. Frandr Hunding, an aspect of Hunding, led the Yokudans against Maluk and his goblin army in Hammerfell. The city of Port Hunding on Stros Makai was named in his honor and is a home to a vast statue of him looking out toward Hunding Bay. The Book of Circles was written by Hunding in order to pass on his life's long insight and knowledge. For Dreadguards, it is an enormous part of their culture and everyday life. Number 4. Kunjari, Khajitic hero of Merethic era, famous for capturing the demons that roamed elsewhere by imprisoning him in the Hall of Colossus. Number 5. The Last Dragonborn, chosen person in the Akibiri prophecy of Alduin's Wall, destined to fight Alduin, the Old Eater. Number 6. Perennial White Strake, the Divine Crusader, avatar of Sor and champion of Akathos. He fought along with Alicia and Morihau in the Alician Rebellion and emerged into Norn like a Padomake. He caused multiple godlike victories and crimes against Elites and other people. He died while fighting Umbrael the Unfeathered. Number 7. Finster, the Guardian, an Altmer hero god that is worshipped by many gods. He taught the Altmer to extend their lifetime by another years by shortening their stride. Number 8. Raymond, the founder of Raymond Empire, proclaimed dragonborn by the Akaviri Dragon Guard that he founded. He conquered northern Tamriel back from the Akaviri invaders and integrated all of Tamriel except Morrowind in his empire. He is worshipped by many gods. Number 9. Debard Hunding, son of Frander Hunding and hero god in the Redguard Pantheon, was originally a bard, although he practiced the way known as Sehai Sen Seru, the way of spirit swords. He defeated the Goblin King in Hammerfell, wielding 5 mighty Sehai along with his band of sword singers. It is said that he deeply regretted having to leave behind his music and turn to war, which he would have otherwise not taken part of if his mother wasn't brutally killed by the soldiers of Emperor Hera. Number 10. Saira Bane, an Altmer hero god. He aided Bendu Olo in the fall of Slord and saved many lives from Thracian plague. Number 11. Sun, god of trials against adversity. Nordic hero god that died while defending Sword from foreign gods. He is guarding the Whalebone Bridge in Sovngarde. The Apotheosized. These are the ones that extended their mortal forms into godhood, whether by the power bestowed upon them by greater beings or through the sheer will and deeds. Number 1. Xerxes, also known as the Ageless One, and the One Who Watches, god of secrets and hidden knowledge in the Altmer and Bosmer Pantheon. Scribe of Auriel, he kept track of all Almeri accomplishments, large and small, since the beginning of time. The knowledge given by Hermias Mora to Xerxes was recorded in the book called Ogma Infinium. An alternate origin myth for Xerxes asserts he was a Merethic Almeri priest of Auriel who was elevated to divinity by the higher deity. The story is consistent with the High Elves' conceit that they are directly descended from the Aedra and can, in certain miraculous circumstances, apotheosize and reascend to godly status. Number 2. Manimarco, king of worms, most powerful Altmer lich in history, caused the plane meld in Elder Scrolls Online and tried to mantle Molag Bal. In one reality, created by the dragon break in the Wrath of West in the Elder Scrolls 2 Daggerfall, he became the Necromancer's moon and ascended. Number 3. Dagoth, or the immortal Lord High Counselor of the House Dagoth, inadvertently caused the Battle of Red Mountain against the Dwemer in suspicion that they were harnessing power from the heart of the Lorkhan, which was deemed profane and heretical in Khmer culture. It is unclear what exactly happened during the conflict of Red Mountain, as there are many variations of story, but one thing we can assume is that Dagoth, or whether by good nature or bad, desired to keep the heart's power to himself. After Nervar's murder by the Tribunals, Dagoth, or having somehow kept alive by the power of the heart, had been spending centuries dreaming and planning, driven by his lust for powers, tapped into the heart and became corrupted by its divine energy. He transformed into a godlike being known as Sarmat, gaining immortality and immense power. Dagoth, or established his domain within Red Mountains, where he began spreading his influence and working towards a grand plan to conquer Morrowind. It's hard to describe where Dagoth, or stands in terms of dream and the Sarmat. Sarmat is a term given solely to Dagoth, or and never to anyone else. According to Sermon 15, we could interpret Sarmat to mean false dreamer, but in the end, this is only written as an association to what Dagoth is rather than the definition for Sarmat. If it meant Mundus, that means Dagoth attempts to be more than he can by relying on the world created by the Aedra, already limiting what can be done on greater levels, such as Kim. He is powered by Lorkhan and indirectly Akathos. He wishes to rule using the powers of those who cannot achieve Kim. Dagoth, in order to achieve his dream, wishes to awaken the second new medium, Akula Khan, the god construct of Dwemer, using the heart of Lorkhan, and reject all that is an extension of himself. Dagoth, however, never realized his dream, as the Nerevarine defeats him. Number 4. Thos Raka, God King of Kapotun, or the Tiger Dragon Empire. Through unknown methods, he purportedly transformed himself into a dragon, with some sources claiming him to be Akaviri avatar of Akathos. Artificial gods. These are the beings that are made by other beings in an unconventional manner. Number 1. Akula Khan, also known as the second new medium, was a recreation of the mechanical god powered by the heart of Lorkhan, used by the Tiber Septim in creation of Empire. It was revealed by Dagoth to take control of Morrowind and all of Tamriel. Number 2. New medium. The brass god, a colossal humanoid golem created by the Dwemer to serve as god for the Dwemers. It should have been used with the heart of Lorkhan, but got used mainly with the Mantella later on for the Tiber Septim's conquest of Somerset. It always causes a dragon break when used. Number 3. Ogma, wife of Xerxes, god of ancestry. She was created from Xerxes' favorite moments in history. Number 4. Umbra was a sword created by Clavicus Vile for the sole purpose of entrapment of souls. It broke free of Vile's will after being fed Vile's own energy. The sword remains hidden until a worthy wielder is found. Umbra then slowly takes control of the wielder. The Tribunals. These are the group of gods that achieved apotheosis by artificial manner while still alive, thus worshipped as the living gods by the Dunmeri culture. Number 1. Vivek, warrior poet deity of Dunmer, is known for his wisdom, cunning and unconventional teaching. Was said to have been born in Resdania to a mother named Berajik and a father named Idri. He often speaks in cryptic riddles and philosophical musings, leaving much room for interpretation. His writings, known as the 36 Lessons of Vivek, delve into various subjects including metaphysics, mortality and the nature of divinity. Despite his divine status, Vivek is not without flaws. He is depicted as a morally ambiguous character, capable of both great benevolence and ruthlessness. His actions and decisions, such as the use of divine powers and his manipulation of mortals, have sparked debate among the Dunmer. Vivek, along with other tribunals, after finding out the tools of Cagrenac and the heart of Lorkhan, urged Nerevar to use the tools to claim Resdain and perhaps the whole world for the Chimera. But Nerevar did not expect this council and wished to summon Azura again for different opinion. Number 2. Almalexia, one of the 3 tribunals, along with Vivek and Sotasil. As a mortal, she was the wife of Lord Indoril Nerevar, the first counselor of Resdain. She was also the most personable of the tribunal and was well known for walking among her people. As a living god, she became the consort of Lord Vivek, who associated her with the stars. Almalexia, along with other tribunals, broke their oath to Nerevar upon Azura by using tools of Cagrenac on the heart of Lorkhan in order to steal its divine essence for themselves. Despite her outward appearance of benevolence, Almalexia harbored a darker side. During the Third Era, she became consumed by paranoia and jealousy. Almalexia feared that the Nerevarine, the player character, would bring about the tribunal's downfall and her own loss of power. As a result, she orchestrated a series of manipulative and treacherous actions, including the murder of Sotasil and attempted murder of Nerevarine, which eventually led to her own demise. Number 3. Sotasil was a wizard mystic god of Dunmer, is depicted as a highly intelligent and recursive sorcerer engineer. He is known for his mastery over technology and his ability to merge magic and mechanics. He is often associated with Clockwork City, a vast underground realm of his own creation. As a member of the tribunal, Sotasil played a crucial role in the history of Morrowind. Along with Almalexia and Vivek, he used the power of Heart of Lorkhan, a divine artifact, to elevate themselves to godhood and protect the Dunmer people from the threats such as Daggothor and the Blight. Sotasil's domain, Clockwork City, is an intricate and complex construct filled with mechanical marvels and mysterious clockwork creatures. He spent much of his time there delving into his experiments and unraveling the secrets of the universe. Sotasil's repulsive nature and obsession with his work often kept him distant from the affairs of the mortal world. Despite his immense power and knowledge, Sotasil is portrayed as a tragic figure. His isolation and detachment from the mortal realm eventually led to the decline of the tribunal. He became consumed by his experiments and lost touch with the people of Morrowind. Ultimately, Sotasil made his demise during the events of the game Morrowind. The characterization of the tribunals is an exploration of complexities of power, love, devotion, and betrayal. They embody the idea that even gods are subject to corruption and flaws. The Constellations. These are the formation of stars that are worshipped as gods, that exist in different forms and act as blessing points of different lifestyles that exist in Nirn. Number 1. Mage. Mage, also known as the Mechanist to the Dwemer and the Witch to the Rich Man, constellation of 20 stars and the planet Julianus. It is one of the 3 guardians and the celestials. Its charges are the apprentice, the atronach, and the ritual. Those born under the sign of Mage are thought to have more magicka and a talent for spell casting, but arrogant and absent-minded. Number 2. The Apprentice, known as the Automaton to the Dwemer, is a constellation of 11 stars. With Mage's charge, those born under the sign are thought to have an affinity for magic as well as vulnerability to it. Number 3. The Atronach, known as the War Machine to Dwemer, is a constellation of 10 stars. With magic stars, those born under the sign are thought to be natural sorcerers with deep reserve of magicka, while being not able to generate their own magicka. Number 4. Lady, one of the celestials under the protection of warrior, the constellation of 4 stars. Those born under the sign of Lady are thought to be kind and tolerant. Number 5. The Lord is a constellation of 19 stars. With warrior stars, those born under the sign of Lord are thought to be stronger and healthier. Number 6. The Lover is the constellation of 12 stars. With the thief stars, those born under the sign of Lover are thought to be graceful and passionate. Number 7. Ritual, known as the laboratory to the Dwemer. With magic stars, those born under the sign are thought to have abilities depending on the aspect of moon and planets. Number 8. Serpent, one of the only celestial without a guardian and the last constellation in Orbis. Number 9. Shadow, one of the celestials with thief stars. Those born under the sign of Shadow are thought to have the ability to hide in the shadows. Number 10. Thief, one of the celestials and one of the 3 guardians with the stars of Lover, the Shadow and the Tower. Those born under the sign are thought to take risks and evade harm but eventually run out of luck, shortening their life. Number 11. Tower, one of the celestials under the protection of Thief. Those born under the signs are thought to have a knack for finding gold and opening locks. Number 12. Steed, one of the celestials under the protection of Warrior. Those born under the sign are thought to be impatient and always hurrying from one place to another. Number 13. Warrior, one of the celestials and one of the 3 guardians with the Lady, Steed and Lord under his charges. Those born under the sign are thought to be short-tempered and skilled with weapons. Planets. These are the flesh divinity of greater gods that literally exist in form of planets or moon in the skies of Nirn. Number 1. Secunda, the imperial version of smaller moon. Number 2. Major, the imperial version of the bigger moon. Number 3. Nirn, the planet, center of Mundus and the creation of the Aedras. Number 4. Jod, variation of Messer, the bigger moon god in the Almeri Pantheon, said to be one of the halves of Lorcan's flesh divinity, one of the 2 aspects of lunar lattice in Khaziti Pantheon. Number 5. Jon, variation of Secunda, the little moon god in the Almeri Pantheon, one of the 2 aspects of lunar lattice in the Khaziti Pantheon. Cultural gods. These are the gods that are worshipped in a particular cultures only. Number 1. Egon, Khaziti Sphinx god of Canus, is an entity venerated in elsewhere. Number 2. Muluk, a god worshipped by the goblins, may be related to Moloch. Number 3. Unding, the make-way god in Yakudan spirit of perseverance over infidels that materializes every time whenever the red guards are in huge danger. Number 4. Eus, the god of animals, fragmental worshipped in Valinor, Hammerfell and elsewhere. Statues depict him as a misshapen humanoid with a rod. Number 5. Yim Shei, unknown deity worshipped on the Iliac coast of High Rock during Elder Scrolls 2, considered similar to Y'ffre. Number 6. Kale, a Breton god worshipped in the Iliac Bay region in the Elder Scrolls 2. Kale is an obscure entity. In one piece of historical fiction, Kale's name was used in a swear by a Dark Elf king. Number 7. Leki, saint of the spirit sword, a goddess of aberrant swordsmanship and divine daughter of Tall Papa in the Yokudan or Redguard Pantheon that introduced the ephemeral feint which helped in deciding who should lead the Yokudans against the left-handed elves. Number 8. Morihau, the breath of men, a cultural demigod hero of Cyrodiil that helped Alicia and Pelinel to win the rebellion against the elites. He is often associated with Cain and believed to be a winged man-bull. He loved Alicia and legends claim that he was one that took the White Gold Tower from the elves. It is unknown if he died. Number 9. Morhua, goddess of fertility in Yokudan Pantheon. Number 10. Mistara, an unknown imperial goddess worshipped and mentioned in the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion. Number 11. Diagna, the oracle god of the sideways blade in the Yakudan or Redguard Pantheon, was an avatar of wounding and was essential to the defeat of left-handed elves. Number 12. Jen is an obscure entity whom was worshipped in Jain lodges throughout the Iliac Bay region in the Elder Scrolls 2. Number 3. Notorgo, the messenger god, mentioned in the Elder Scrolls 2 and 3. Number 4. Orgnum, god king of Maomor in Pandonia, said to be immortal. Number 15. Orca, a demon in the Khaziti Pantheon, connected to Boethra in some way. Number 16. Onzi, warrior god of Yakudan or Red Guard Pantheon. He taught mankind how to make swords out of their knives. Number 17. Colwyn, god of wisdom, worshipped in Hierarch during the Elder Scrolls 2. Number 18. Razin, thief god of Khazid. He stole Falinesti from Valinor, Ogma Infinium from Hermaeus Mora, and a tattoo from Empress Kintria's neck. He is an integral part of Khaziti culture. Number 19. Rihanna, unknown goddess worshipped by a cult in the Elder Scrolls 1. Number 20. Riddle Thar, cosmic order deity of Khaziti Pantheon. Number 21. Rid Thari Data, the first main, restored peace in the Elsewhere Confederacy. Number 22. Strainer, probably a god worshipped in the Iliac Bay region in the Elder Scrolls 2. Number 23. Stun, brother of Sun, god of ransom in the Nordic Pantheon, sealed Thane to sword that fought the Aldmar with mankind. Number 24. Agamanus, Khaziti Sphinx god of Gazia, is an entity venerated in Elsewhere in the Elder Scrolls arena. Number 25. Bandar, the bandit god, the man of thousand faces, or the pariah, is a trickster spirit that is worshipped in the Khaziti Pantheon. To Bosmor, he is only seen as the god of archery, and Bretons see him as a symbol of snake thieves. Number 26. The Deep Ones, unknown gods worshipped in Hagdod in the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion, a race of beings who dwell deep underground beneath the town of Hagdod, an isolated imperial settlement in Cyrodiil's great forest. They are worshipped as gods by the inhabitants of Hagdod. Number 27. Dugrod, unknown god worshipped in the Iliac Bay region. Number 28. Druaga, the old goddess of flower, formerly worshipped in a coastal region of Menevia in central Hierarch. A festival named Gartid is still held in her honor in First of Rain's hand, that is the fourth moon of the year. Number 29. Hist is a unique and mysterious species of sentient trees that are worshipped by the Argonians and are essential for the Argonian races. They are as old as the Elnofe. The Hist trees are said to have witnessed and retained the memory of Dawn Era, the mythical period of creation. The Argonians share a symbiotic relationship with the trees, and their biology and culture are deeply intertwined with the Hist. Argonians are born from the sap of Hist tree, and the tree provides them with sense of communal consciousness known as the swamp minder. This connection allows the Hist to communicate with the Argonians and guide them. The Hist also possess unique properties and abilities. They are capable of granting visions, memories, guidance to those who consume their sap. The substance is highly potent and can induce hallucinogenic and prophetic experiences. Additionally, the Hist sap is also known to have transformative properties, enabling individuals to undergo physical changes or gain enhanced abilities. Number 30. The Ghost Snake, the spirit of giant snake that protects the veil of the Ghost Snake in Easter Day Sun and worshipped by the Mabrigas tribe of Ashlanders. As part of coming of age ritual, tribe members must walk the coiled path through the swamp of the veil, overcoming the giant snake native to the region, as well as the angry ghost of those who failed. The few that manages to reach the altar at the Fang Spires and commune with the Ghost Snake are granted great insight into navigating the twisting path of life. Number 31. Herd Mother, divine animist spirit worshipped by Yakudan herding clans in Akos Kazaz. Number 32. Whore Father, philosophical node that is mentioned on multiple word walls in Skyrim. Number 33. Thorig, an unknown Nordic god or myth that is mentioned in the Elder Scrolls 1 and 2. Number 34. Tuwaka, the tricky god, the Yakudan god of souls, the god of the fire source. Number 36. Veloth, the Chimera prophet. He was responsible for leading the Chimera to Resden. Veloth and his followers established the first Chimera settlements and created a new religious and cultural order known as the Velothi. They embraced a unique blend of ancestor worship, reverence for the Daedra, and the teaching of Veloth himself. This new religious system came to be known as the Good Daedra Faith and formed the basis of Chimera society. It is said that Boethia took the form of the Aedra Trinemek and taught Veloth and his followers the rules of Sijic endeavor, a method where supposedly mortals could ascend to become gods. Number 37. Viggril, the god of sea, worshipped in the Iliac Bay region. Number 38. the Wielder King, god of Valinor, preserves the balance of nature and is worshipped by the tribal Bosmer in Greenshade. He created the Hollows. The Wielder King has a long-standing pact with the Bosmer of the Shrouded Vale. In return for his protection, he provides them caretaking of the fading tree, which he spirits away every 100 years or so. He also provides sustenance for the appointed caretaker of the Vale. Number 39. Jen, variation of Jen in Altmer Pantheon. Bosmer god of the toil, vengeance, agriculture and payment in kind. Jen was supposedly the chief deity of Kothringi. Kothringi being the silver-skinned tribal people indigenous to Black Mars who are believed to be the descendant of the Nadis. Number 40. Jet, the Yakudan god of farms, god of agriculture. His renouncement of Tall Papa is the reason why it is so hard to grow food. The symbols. These are the gods that are symbolic to one form of natural element or another. Number 1. Grelan, the wolf god of luck, Sai. Number 2. Ilni, symbolization of the air in Saiski culture. Number 3. The moth, one of the animal gods of the Nordic pantheon, one of the hearth gods, representation of the Vela. Number 4. Nifa, symbolization of earth in Saiski culture. Number 5. The owl or wise wing, one of the animal gods of the old Nordic pantheon, representation of Junal. Number 6. Jeki, Madonna of Tears, water goddess and daughter of Jet. Number 7. Jisha, symbolization of water in Saiski culture. Number 8. Jen, god of toil and agriculture in Bosmeri pantheon. The variations. These are the gods that are the variation of different pantheons in different form and cultural origins. Number 1. Kain, variation of Kinnereth in Nordic pantheon. Number 2. Merun's Dagon, variation of Merun's Dagon in Khaziti pantheon. Number 3. Anur, variation of Anu the Everything in Khaziti pantheon. Number 4. Akel is a variation of Sithis in the Redguard pantheon. Number 5. Akha is the variation of Anuel in Khaziti pantheon. Number 6. Akhad is a variation of Akatos in Dunmeri pantheon. Number 7. Al-Khan is a variation of Alduin in a Khaziti pantheon. Number 8. Atak, a variation of Anu the Everything in Aji's Coastal Tribe pantheon in Black Mars. Number 10. Kota, a variation of Padome in Arji Coastal Tribe in Black Mars. Number 11. Baal, worshipped by a cult in the Elder Scrolls 1 in Black Mars, probably a variation of Moloch Baal. Number 13. Barbas, part of the Daedric Prince Clavicus Baal, has his own consciousness and sometimes works against Baal, mostly takes on the form of a dog or Scaphin. Although Baal is always depicted along with Barbas, the prince has at times grown tired of and abandoned him. While Barbas seems to be subservient to Clavicus Baal, he also often warns people against Baal's plot, suggesting he has discretion and free will. Number 14. Blue God, interpretation of Malakath in the Goblin Pantheon. He, however, isn't a real god. He unintentionally became the leader of a goblin tribe after visiting Grom's Pass with full body paint, which made the goblins mistake him for the Blue God. Number 15. Boethra, variation of Boethia in the Khaziti Pantheon. Number 16. Cyrus the Restless, as seen as the aspect of Hunding during Tiber Septim's conquest. If he wasn't an aspect of Hunding, then Atora was. Varieties of faith in the Empire states that the Hunding materialized during the Tiber Septim Wars, when it was said to have incarnated as either a sword or a crown or both. The sword is presumably a reference to the soul sword, while the crown likely refers to Cyrus himself, who comes from a family of crowns. It can therefore be summoned that Cyrus became the make-way god when he wielded the soul sword during the rebellion on Stros Makai. Number 17. Raymond Ivonarm, possible variation of Talos in Yakudan Pantheon, the god of war and the protector of warriors, enemy of all Daedric Princes except Siogarath and Zigalag. He is said to ride golden stallion named War Master and is accompanied by a pair of huge ravens. He is often portrayed as tall, imposing figure, donning ebony armor and wielding great sword. The Khazit acknowledge an unnamed dark spirit born from Azura's grief after the death of Fadome and Lorkhaz that sometimes appear in a song as a black panther, a warrior in ebony armor, or a hidden sword. According to some accounts, Ivonarm origins traces back to time of Agudan Exodus when the Red Guards fled fled their homeland to Ekuda due to a cataclysmic event. Ibonam is said to have accompanied them and provided guidance and protection during the journey. He became highly revered by the Dread Gods and was considered their patron deity of the war. Number 18. The Exalted Viper. A celestial who usurped the place of Serpent, the constellation of 4 stars as celestial. She is later defeated by the Vestige. Number 19. Hermamora. Scalic Atmoran and Bosmer variation of Hermaeus Mora. Number 20. Hermora. Hermaeus Mora in Khaziti Pantheon. Number 21. Hierma Mora. Variation of Hermaeus Mora in the Pantheon of Aedras. Number 23. Ifri, variation of Ifri in the Breton Pantheon. Number 25. Junal, god of hermetic orders and knowledge in the Nordic Pantheon, considered to be the same as Julianos. Number 26. Khan, variation of Kinareth in Dragon Pantheon. Number 27. Kenarthi, variation of Kinareth in Khaziti Pantheon. Number 30. Mafala, variation of Mephala in the Khaziti Pantheon. Number 31. Magnus, variation of Magnus in Khaziti Pantheon. Number 32. Magus, variation of Magnus in Imperial Pantheon. Number 33. Malak, variation of Malakath in Dunmer Pantheon. Number 34. Maluk, variation of Malakath in Redguard Pantheon. Number 35. Mara, variation of Mara in Dunmer Pantheon. Number 38. Nerevarin, reincarnation of Indoril Nerevar, killed Dagoth Or and destroyed the heart of Lorkhan. Number 39. Nir, the interplay of light and darkness in Khaziti Pantheon, beaten to death by Padome. Number 40. Norni, variation of Norn in Khaziti Pantheon. Number 41. Noctra, variation of Nocturnal in the Khaziti Pantheon. Number 42. Nikot, a variation of Clavicus Vile by some cultists during the Second Era. Number 43. Orke, a bad god in Nordic Pantheon, combines the aspect of Arche and Malakath. He fooled the Nords and took away most of their lifespan. It is said that Nords and Elves had the same lifespan up to this point. It is also mentioned that he summoned Alduin in the Merethic era and plagued the Atmorans. Number 44. Fadome, variation of Padome in Dunmeri Pantheon. Number 45. Rakhed, variation of Arche in Dunmeri Pantheon. Number 46. The Rudi Man, a druid god that fought with Vivek, possibly a variation of Molak Baal. Number 47. Satak, a variation of Fadome in Yakudan Pantheon. Number 48. Satakal, the variation of Orvis in Yakudan Pantheon. Number 49. Sep, a variation of Lorkhan in Redguard Pantheon. Number 50. Segorath, a variation of Seogorath in Khaziti Pantheon. Number 51. Seog, a variation of Seogorath in Dunmeri Pantheon. Number 52. Sior, a demonic variation of Sor in Breton Pantheon. Number 53. Caesar, a variation of Sor in the Imperial Pantheon. Number 54. Sor, variation of Lorkhan in Nordic Pantheon. Number 55. Sithis, a possible variation of Padome or the soul of Padome, is the counterpart to Annuel. He isn't Daedric or Aedric, and it is still debatable if he is an individual. He is the personification of nothingness. He is worshipped by the Dark Brotherhood. Number 57. Sneg, an Atmoran god, either a variation of Seogorath or the Old Nordic god Orke. Number 58. Srendar, variation of Stendar in Khaziti Pantheon. Number 59. Thender, variation of Stendar in Dunmeri Pantheon. The aspects. These are the aspects of greater gods that exist in all kinds of forms depending upon the powers of the gods or the cultural beliefs. Number 1. Alra Beg, patron of the hunters, an aspect of her sin. Number 2. Amaro, a wind deity connected to Kinnereth, one of her fingers. Number 3. Gulibeg, patron of cleverness, an aspect of her sin. Number 4. Horik Beg, the bear is the patron of flight and fight, an aspect of her sin. Number 5. Tina, a wind deity connected to Kinnereth, one of her fingers. Number 6. Thartag, an aspect of the adversary and the Elduin in the Skalk Pantheon. He will devour the world at the end of time. Number 7. Ysmir, Dragon of the North, refers to the Nordic aspect of Talos, as well as Ulfarth in the Nordic names of kings, a title bestowed upon several heroes. Number 8. Storibeg, patron of skin changers, an aspect of Orsine. Number 9. Talatha, a wind deity connected to Kinnereth, one of her fingers. Number 10. Urkani Beg, patron of the prey, an aspect of Orsine. Cult gods. These are the beings that are venerated by different cults across Norn as gods. Whether they have actually ascended to godhood or not is a matter of own belief. Number 1. Emperor Zero, or Cuchulainn, technical establisher of the Third Empire and the king of Falkreath, which at the time was part of Colovian state. He allied with Skyrim and his general reality early beard, known as Talos, to claim the Colovian state and later the imperial city. Before he could be named emperor, however, Cuchulainn was murdered in the Second Era. Historical consensus is that he was assassinated by the Rage Folks, but other sources say it was General Talos' conspiracy, which led to Talos being named the first true emperor of the Third Empire, with the name Tiber Septim. Talos founded the cult Emperor Zero to recognize Cuchulainn's wisdom. Number 2. Efen, a Dunmer noble that got worshipped by an obscure temple cult as the god of the wild, created by his half-brother Morelain, the Witch King of Avonheart. Number 3. Lord Irarak, self-proclaimed vampiric Dunmer god in Vardenfell, was worshipped by a small delusional cult, killed by the Quara vampire clan. Number 4. Lord Indoril Nerevar, Chimera King of Resden, founder of the First Council, was killed by the Tribunal after successful battle of Red Mountain, was worshipped by the Nerevarine cult. Number 5. Potema Septim, the Wolf Queen of Solitude and the mother of Uriel III, starter of the War of the Red Diamond. Number 6. Seth, or Sethiet, a dark god worshipped by the Brotherhood of Seth in Elder Scrolls 1, probably a variation of Sithis. Number 7. Mirak, the first Dragonborn, leader of the dragon cult. He was worshipped by his cult and at some point tried to beat the dragon hegemony. He fled to Apocrypha, where he became the champion of Hermaeus Mora. He later got killed by Mora himself during his fight with the last Dragonborn. Creator gods. These are the gods that are literally in form of creature, venerated by lesser creatures of their own kind and often are revered as the patron deity of said species. Number 1. Sagrath, goddess of spider, threatened Valenwood with an army of spiders. Number 2. Snake, one of the animal gods of the old Nordic pantheon, one of the testing gods, representation of Orke. Number 3. Taba, bird god, Yakudan god of Yor and Sun. She led the yoke, creature god Umbra Kep, the shadow of conflict, created by the conflict in the War of Benremak. It would have been complicated if it got the soul of conflict, but was killed by the hero of Aedras Crossing. Number 4. Whale, one of the animal gods of the old Nordic pantheon, representation of Stune, god of ransom, fraternity and justice. He is seen as precursor to Stendarr by some and seen as the same as Stendarr by others. Number 5. Wolf, one of the animal gods of Nordic pantheon, one of the hearth gods, representation of Mara. Alright everyone, that's it for the video. I hope you enjoyed, and if I've been unclear or inaccurate in any way, please feel free to let me know down in the comments. Otherwise, thanks for watching and I'll see you on the next one.